Pre-Colonial Lagos, dawn. At dawn, the lagoon of Lagos awakens quietly. Long before colonial rule, this was a thriving coastal kingdom, its waterways linking inland communities to the wider Atlantic world. Canoes moved with purpose across calm waters, while smoke from early hearth fires marked the beginning of another day. Lagos was not a frontier settlement. It was a center of power, trade, and political authority. Daily life in pre-colonial Lagos market. By the early 19th century, Lagos pulsed with commercial life. Markets overflowed with palm oil, textiles, kola nuts, and ivory. Traders negotiated prices, chiefs oversaw commerce, and the rhythms of daily life reflected a sophisticated urban society. Economic power here rested firmly in African hands. The Atlantic slave trade context. Yet Lagos was also deeply connected to the Atlantic slave trade. For generations, this trade had shaped political alliances and regional economies driven by European demand. By the 1800s, however, global attitudes were shifting, setting the stage for a collision between African authority and European imperial ambition. Oba Kosoko, King of Lagos. At the center of this unfolding drama stood Oba Kosoko, a ruler of resolve and political skill. Kosoko wore the symbols of sacred kingship: coral beads, royal regalia, and the weight of tradition. His authority was not absolute, but it was deeply. Political rivalries within Lagos, power in Lagos was contested. Rival chiefs, merchant elites, and royal factions struggled for influence. These internal divisions would later provide openings for foreign intervention, an advantage the British were quick to exploit. British naval power arrives. By the 1840s, British warships dominated the Atlantic. Under the banner of abolition, Britain expanded its naval presence along the West African coast. But behind humanitarian language lay strategic objectives, control of trade routes, ports, and political outcomes. Diplomatic confrontation, British officials demanded that Lagos abolish the slave trade and submit to new commercial treaties. To Oba Kosoko, these demands threatened the sovereignty of his kingdom. Negotiations were tense, unequal, and ultimately unsuccessful. Kosoko's defiance, Kosoko chose resistance. He rallied warriors and allies determined to defend Lagos from foreign domination. This was not blind defiance, but a calculated stand to preserve political independence in a rapidly changing world. Preparing for conflict. As diplomacy failed, Lagos prepared for war. Defenses were strengthened, war canoes assembled, and fighters trained. But the balance of power was shifting. Technology and firepower increasingly favored the empire offshore. The bombardment of Lagos, 1851. In December 1851, British warships opened fire. For 2 days, Lagos was bombarded from the sea. The destruction was decisive. Traditional defenses could not withstand modern naval artillery. Aftermath and defeat smoke settled over a shattered city. Homes were destroyed, civilians displaced. Though resistance continued, Oba Kosoko's position in Lagos had become untenable. Exile of Oba Kosoko, Kosoko fled to Epe, carrying his authority beyond Lagos itself. Even in exile, he remained a powerful figure, challenging British control through regional networks and influence. British-controlled kingship. The British installed Oba Akitoye, a ruler more willing to accept imperial demands. Treaties followed. British influence hardened into political control. The birth of colonial Lagos soon became a British protectorate, then a colony. Traditional authority was reshaped, and colonial administration took root. This marked the beginning of formal British rule in what would later become Nigeria. Legacy and modern Lagos today. Lagos stands as a global megacity, but its foundations were laid in moments like these. Oba Kosoko's resistance reminds us that colonial rule was imposed, not inevitable. His struggle endures as a symbol of African agency, sovereignty, and resistance in the face of empire.